Welcome to News Laundry Chota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. We are back with episode 329 of NL Hafta from Delhi where we are still in lockdown. However, Manisha and me are in office.
Yes.
Hi Manisha.
Hello.
And joining us on the phone lines from the safety of their homes is Raman Kirpal, who has been vaccinated twice. Raman sir, congratulations. You are a insignificant and privileged minority in the country.
Thank you. And in fact, I'll come to the office from next week.
Okay, sir.
I'm just trying. I was avoiding it because of my mother and all. I thought if they fall sick,
Right.
I won't get hospital. So that is why, I stayed back.
Right, sir. So hope to see you. Mehraj, who is once vaccinated, also joining us from his home.
Yes, very privileged, like you said. In fact, when Manisha and I went there, we were talking about this only, that this country is designed for people like us who have privilege.
Yes, optimized for us.
Yes.
And also joining us from the phone line is Leena Gita Reghunath. Hi, Leena.
Hi.
Leena is a freelance journalist. She was the editorial manager at The Caravan, which is also a subscription-driven enterprise, and I hope many of you do subscribe to it. She has received Mumbai Press Club's Red Ink Award for her reporting in 2015 and in 2018, and Population First's Lardli Media Award for Gender Sensitivity in 2018. She has also written for the New York Times, Al Jazeera, Hindustan Times, Hindu Business Line, and the News Minute, and today she is with us. And is she once or twice vaccinated or none at all, Leena? Can you tell us?
No, I'm not vaccinated yet. Kerala has just opened up for vaccination for our age group, but priority is given for people with comorbidities. So I don't fall in that age bracket yet where I can get vaccination at Vasco.
Well, so this is one time in life where I can look at young people who don't have diabetes and say, yo, I'm 47 with diabetes, so suck it up. I get it. So which city are you in?
One rare time.
In Kerala. Where are you, Leena, right now?
Yeah, I'm right now in Kannur, the Red Fort, so considered as the most strongest citadel of the left.
I see. Right.
Did you go for the swearing in today? Of course
No,
not.
that's
because you're in
happening in the
Kannur.
capital, Trivandrum. I'm
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
it live.
Was it very crowded?
I'm watching it live right now. The swearing in is happening, so everything is socially distanced and monitored. So I don't see that. I don't think there will be a complaint like it's too crowded ever going to come, because they're going to be very extra careful about this.
Because I believe there was a High Court directive of how they should do that, right? If I'm
There
not
were
wrong,
proper
there were
directives.
guidelines
and,
laid out.
And also
Right.
everyone has to get their tests done and
Yes.
stuff like that.
So we are recording this at 3:40 in the afternoon on Thursday, the 20th of May. And before we get into our discussions and the chit-chat of Hafta, our wonderful Mehraj will go through the headlines of the week.
The top headline is the center has said that individuals who have recovered from the coronavirus infection should wait for 3 months before getting vaccinated for the virus. And they have also issued guidelines for lactating women who
So,
want to get vaccinated.
and also they've pushed for between the two doses from 8 weeks. Now they've said 12 to 16 weeks.
Yes, it's written on notice boards at vaccination centers now, as we found out. 26 people have been killed and 51 ONGC workers are missing after a barge that was carrying them sank 35 nautical miles of the Mumbai coast because of the cyclone that has swept past the western coast this week.
Right.
And the Navy is leading the search and rescue operation, and they have recovered 22 bodies from the sunken barge so far. The vessel has been identified as P305 and it was carrying 261 people in all. After another cyclone is brewing in the Bay of Bengal called cyclonic storm Yas, and it's expected by May 22nd, says the Indian Meteorological Department.
Which will be the day this podcast is uploaded. So let's see if that happens.
The name Yas has been chosen by Oman.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, I don't know if it's an Arabic word, but in Urdu, Yas means sadness or grief, which is, I suppose, very appropriate. The Manipur police on Monday booked journalist Kishore Chandra Wangkim and activist Erendro Laikumbam under the National Security Act for their Facebook posts, which the police said alluded to the death of the BJP state president, and they have been booked under the National Security Act.
And just so you know,
which is the anti-terror law.
And what they had said was that basically Gaumutra and Gobar does not cure COVID.
Yes.
And also notably, this journalist, every year I know from the past 3 years that he gets slapped with NSA for something or the other. For criticizing the BJP, he's gone to jail. He's gone for more than 100 days. He was in jail for criticizing the Manipur CM. Came out, now this.
Right.
So he's
guys,
constantly in and out of jail.
Don't post that Gaumutra and Gobar can't cure COVID. It's a security breach.
Don't put posters asking for where your children's vaccines are, because then Delhi police will come for you.
Right.
He must be in bad books of the CM.
Yeah, he is.
The Yogi Adityanath administration in Uttar Pradesh has demolished an old mosque in the Barabanki district in what it called an anti-encroachment drive. And the mosque was apparently demolished despite a High Court order saying it shouldn't be touched.
Right.
BJP legislator in UP's Sitapur district has hit out at his own party's government, saying lawmakers like him do not have any stature and that making too many statements to the media may lead to a sedition case against him.
Wow. And there was a similar one in the YSR
Yes.
Congress MP, Kannamuri Krishnan Raju. He was arrested by the Andhra Pradesh Crime Investigation Department on charges of sedition for criticizing CM Jagan Mohan Reddy.
Yes, and while the UP MP is only fearing it, it's already happened elsewhere.
Yes.
Shailaja, former Kerala Health Minister, who has been widely praised for handling the coronavirus outbreak as well as the Nipah outbreak earlier, will not be part of Pinarayi Vijayan's second cabinet in Kerala. The party says it's a policy decision that had been taken before the election, but a lot of people obviously don't agree with it.
We'll see what our guest Leena has to say about this. But yes.
The CBI has stepped up its probe in the Narada sting video by detaining senior Trinamool Congress leaders and ministers in Kolkata. Journalist Matthew Samuel, who conducted the sting operation, he has asked why Suvendu Adhikari, who is now in BJP, was earlier with Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, he has not been arrested, though he also featured in it.
And he says, I gave everybody money. Why has he not been arrested? And this journalist, Matthew, is a very interesting character. I had done an interview with him, I think in 2012 or 2013. He's also the one who had done the Tehelka sting, that famous Tehelka sting Operation West End. You can check it out. He's really, flirts with extreme danger. I don't get what makes him tick. He's a very interesting guy.
The Delhi High Court has reserved its judgment on a plea seeking direction to halt or suspend all construction activity of the Central Vista project. And the Delhi High Court was hearing a plea seeking direction to halt the construction activity in compliance with orders issued by the Delhi Disaster Management Authority during this peak phase of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And my former boss and journalist Alpana Kishore has done a 2-part series for us. You can read it. It is an excellently written report. In case many of you wouldn't have heard of Alpana Kishore, I guess, because ever since television channels took off. But Alpana was, after Manoj Raghuvanshi quit Newstrack, she was number 2 when I was at Newstrack. After Madhu, it was her. And of course, SP Singh started Aaj Tak. So she is an old hand journalist, and you can see what old hand journalists are capable of when you read these 2 reports on News Laundry. The links are below this on the News Laundry podcast page.
A day after the Singapore government denied Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's statement that a variant of the novel coronavirus found in Singapore could usher in a third wave in the country, the Indian government has said that the Chief Minister had no competence, quote unquote, no competence to pronounce on COVID variants or civil aviation policy.
In fact, our Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, has tweeted out reprimanding Arvind
so
Kejriwal.
silly,
We can discuss this also after this, because
the whole thing was silly.
I have my friends in Singapore texting me saying, "Tera Kejru pitwaega hame yahan par."
And it's a very silly statement by him. But also very silly of the government of India.
Had a own goal kind of a situation by saying, okay, no, this variant actually emerged in India. They have been very ambiguous about it until now. Relatedly, Singapore has asked Facebook and Twitter to issue correction on false statement about the COVID-19 variant being the Singapore variant. There's no Singapore variant of COVID-19, the city state's health minister said. Neither is there evidence of any COVID-19 variant that's extremely dangerous for kids. The strain that's prevalent in many of the COVID-19 cases detected in Singapore in recent weeks is the B16172 variant, which originated from India.
Right.
You think this is Kejriwal trying to be smart to get the government to agree to an Indian variant? He's not that intelligent.
We will discuss this a little bit after.
In hindsight, it seems like that.
Right.
The Delhi High Court has criticized the center for not filing its reply in a case lodged against Disha Ravi, who was arrested on charges of sedition for her alleged role in creating an online document, which was called Toolkit at the time, intended to help amplify the farmer protests.
If you remember, she was, I think, 19 or 20? She's very young. She was arrested. It was this huge hoo-ha.
Of course, the Rihanna.
Yeah,
toolkit,
exactly, when Rihanna tweeted.
Greta
And
Thunberg.
just the seriousness with which the center takes court directives is so clear with repeated cases. Now imagine if you or me just didn't respond to a court directive or didn't answer it.
And the court had asked the center to submit it in March. So 2 months ago.
So I really don't understand how the court is tolerating this kind of disrespect again and again by the center. I mean, and anyway, there are no consequences clearly.
The new finance minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiagarajan, has described Jaggi Vasudev, aka Sadhguru, as a commercial operator who uses religion and spirituality to make money. He has hit out at the campaign by Vasudev's Asia Foundation demanding that the Tamil Nadu government release Hindu temples from its control. And he said he has evidence of wrongdoing against the religious leader, which he'll send to the investigating agencies.
Cult leader, more like it. And you can read a wonderful 3-part investigation that was funded by you wonderful readers as an LLCNA project done by our wonderful Prateek and beautifully worded and composed by Mehraj and Jayashree. Well done, guys. We have got lots of very good feedback, and the artwork by Anish was also amazing.
And the video explainer is about to come.
Yes, which is done by Meghnath.
In international news, Israel continues to pummel the Gaza Strip with airstrikes. So far, over 200 people have been killed, including 61 children. And on the Israeli side, as many as 10 people, including a 5-year-old boy, have been killed in rocket attacks by Hamas and other militant groups. The United Nations says that more than 38,000 Palestinians have been displaced in Gaza due to the airstrikes, and 2,500 have been rendered homeless.
And in typical BB style, yesterday, I think he made that statement saying that occupation is also an option, which we will not rule out. I'm paraphrasing, but he's saying that we can go in and occupy the entire Gaza Strip. So it's not just that we will be firing from afar.
Meanwhile, a lot of heartbreak for Indian right-wing Israeli supporters because he tweeted out with all the flags thanking countries for support and missed out the Indian flag.
Yes.
And then you had lots of Indians saying, "Hame kyun bhul gaye?"
That's correct.
Don't forget our support.
Because we have one thing in common, some parts of the Israel right and the Indian right, that we all hate Muslims, so we can always bond over that.
For practical purposes, though, I mean, Israel already occupies Gaza and Palestine. I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, I guess.
Technically say they don't, but yeah.
So...
No, the thing before election was that they didn't want to give seats to anybody who has already contested, been in 2 assemblies, consecutive assemblies. So that was the idea before the election. So Shailaja was first-time minister last time. So she was given a party ticket and she was elected. And this is the thing. When the election debates were happening, there were questions like, when they were comparing people. One, what they was asking was a continuity in the government, right? They were saying let's continue with the same government. That's what they were asking for, and which meant that Pinarayi would come back as the CM, Shailaja would come back as the health minister.
That was one of their election talking points or planks, that we will continue this so that the work continues. That's what you're saying.
Right. And now the left talking heads are framing it in such a manner to say that, we meant that the policy will be continued, not the people. But then in conversations in newspapers and in television studios, what they were asking was, like, can you imagine anybody else, another Congress name in place of Shailaja handling the health ministry? So they have been asking that question over and over again. And she won with a very huge popular mandate, like a lead of 60,000 votes, like never before in the assembly records. So that's like a huge yes for Shailaja, to continue as a minister, or be in power, or, continue doing what she was doing. So a week back, there were news reports in major Malayalam newspapers saying that there was conversations and the state committee was recommending that no minister be repeated other than the chief minister, and Pinarayi Vijayan was strongly opposing not having Shailaja back. So there were newses like that coming in from the state committee, but all of a sudden we heard 2 days back that she's not anymore going to be in the ministry, and she's just going to be assigned as a party whip. And we all know what it means to be a party whip when you are a majority government. It's not as if this is a coalition, a minority, party that is trying. This is a party with majority in the assembly. And what a whip would do in such a situation is something that, we all can guess. So it's not just Twitter that is erupting in anger. I don't think so, because in conversations around me, from every home, from our kitchens, here we hear the shock that come in from women folk. Like, it's as if they've been denied a chance. It's not just that Twitter liberated feminists are crying out for this, but there is something Shailaja has proved, and not to be rewarded for that politically sends out a very real bad gender message. There are a lot of arguments that the left is putting back, saying, look, she was not the only performing person. There were the education minister who has done amazing work. That he has, it's true, the education ministry in the last 5 years had done some really, really revolutionary work. Like, if you walk into a public school in Kerala right now, it's just renovated in such a fashion that private schools are being put to shame. There is public schools with complete internet facilities, swimming pools, latest gadgets, completely digitized. And once the pandemic shut everything down, they had managed to put everything shift the whole education onto a digital platform where it's on a TV channel, some of the best teachers taking classes for you. So, there are, in the pandemic, of course, every ministry has given a best performance. It's not like, but if you ask me, there's also this other question that everybody's asking, was it Shailaja's only claim, the Kerala's health ministry? No. Kerala's health has always been something that Kerala has been very proud of, from the start, before independence, when the Christian missionaries brought in this Western style of health systems into the state, and when the Travancore, back then the Travancore kings, the Kochi kings and all funded them, did everything to get a world-class health system into the state. And then successive governments, Congress and left, who have ruled, has always put public health as a very important thing, and the ministry and the power of the health sector has grown. And yes, so she has benefited from what her predecessors had done. But it has been a debilitating pandemic, if we know. It's nothing that anybody has faced before. And she turned this ministry into a fortress where everybody who was working with her was full of admiration for her. The general public saw her day and night working for this. And there was sort of, when a strong woman emerges as, of course, the party gave her a platform to emerge. We can understand that. Nobody comes out from a void space. You are given a platform. Her husband must have supported in the kitchen. Her kids must have done something. This is all just platforms that help someone step up. But once you're given that platform, how you wield it is what real power and real politics is all about. And she wielded it in such a stupendous manner. It's not just PR that brought the international media calling her the COVID slayer and the rock star health minister. It was something she earned rightfully, It's something that she earned to turn it into a fortress. She could have she could have just done an okay job, but no, she stepped up. And every journalist that who have talked to her, like, we all understand some part of this can be PR, some statistics are hidden, like, she made sure that that only certain people designated from her department could talk, and it was very difficult to get leaked information from her department. So you are plugged in with people who is assigned to talk good about her, and it's very difficult. So there is kind of that careful thinking, calculating image promotion, all that. We agree that politics is not let's not talk as if politics is about somebody being a savior or anything. We know what politics is, right?
A couple of announcements. One is, please pay to keep news free. Go to newslaundry.com. We do not take ads, as you may have noticed. We have a really clean website with not a single advertisement because we believe advertising would dilute our ideological purity to reporting and public service news, and we would become clickbaity. So until you support us, we cannot continue to grow. And I thank all of you who do support us. We have had a series of amazing reports by Akanksha, Basant, Ayush, and Shivangi from UP. Right now, Nidhi is in Bangalore. We will have a series of reports from Karnataka. Then we will have some from Maharashtra, which Prateek shall report. So we will have reports from all over. I wish we had 40 journalists who we could send to every state. We don't, but we know we will get to that as long as you continue to help us grow. So do share this with others. Encourage others to subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free, because we do not want to depend on advertisers.
I feel that it is a scandal, because after reading that report in the Indian Express, which was very, there is a subordinate who is telling that his boss did not adhere to what we said. Okay. And the boss, simply they said that this chief engineer is saying that the captain did not adhere to, whatever they said, that we should go out of it because of this cyclone. And we had the prior information of it a week ago. And the captain says, no, the wind is going to be just 40 miles per hour. So which we can withstand, this barge can withstand. So and it is going to be there for an hour or two. First of all, I don't understand that when such an important state announcement, has been made about the weather, about this cyclone, how can captain take the decision? I mean, there has to be somebody on the ground.
Yeah, there should be a directive that is given that everyone come back. I mean, it's not your call.
Yes, and it is not his call. That is why I think it is a real bad decision by anyone, on the ground. I don't know what activity was happening over there. I think these 270 people, they were working on the rig. But after working on the rig, they used to come to this barge and they were staying on that barge. I think it needs further probe. And I don't think that the captain alone can take a decision to stay, back. I don't even know whether this captain has survived or is not there.
Ideally, he should stay with the ship. I mean, that's the rule. But
that's the rule. But we don't know whether he has been rescued. We have no idea about it. But I think further probe needs to be done.
Our Hindi website is up and around. You can check it out. So tell us what you think. We will be having news reports and video shows now only for our Hindi site and our Hindi channel, Hindi programs on our YouTube channel. So you can also write on and tell us what you think. So do go to hindi.newslaundry.com and give us an idea of what you think about this. And also Manisha and I will be at your service to take questions on Sunday evening at 7:30 on a YouTube live. This is not only for paid subscribers, it's for everybody. मुफ्त खोर्स, मौका मिल गया मुफ्त खोरों, हम तुम्हें भी जवाब देंगे. जवाबदेही होगी आपके पास, आपके लिए भी. So you can join us at 7:30 on our YouTube live, where we'll tell you, how we work, what future plans are, and whatever accountability you seek from us. Okay, so but let me just give you guys exactly what was tweeted out, because this is more a Twitter war than anything else. So this is what Arvind Kejriwal tweeted on 18th of May. सिंगापुर में आया कोरोना का नया रूप बच्चों के लिए बेहद खतरनाक बताया जा रहा है. भारत में ये तीसरी लहर के रूप में आ सकता है. केंद्र सरकार से मेरी अपील, सिंगापुर के साथ हवाई सेवाएं तत्काल प्रभाव से रद्द हों. 2, बच्चों के लिए भी वैक्सीन के विकल्पों पर प्राथमिकता के आधार पर काम हो. And this is what our foreign affairs minister tweeted after that. So then Arindam Bagchi, who is the official spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, tweeted, Singapore government called in our High Commissioner today to convey strong objection to Delhi CM's tweet on Singapore variant. High Commissioner clarified that Delhi CM had no competence to pronounce on COVID variants of civil aviation policy. Then Dr. Jaishankar quote tweeted this and said Singapore and India have been solid partners in the fight against COVID-19, appreciate Singapore's role as a logistics hub and oxygen supplier. Their gesture of deploying military aircraft to help us speaks of our exceptional relationship. However, irresponsible comments from those who should know better can damage long-standing partnerships. So let me clarify, Delhi CM does not speak for India. Now, I found this interesting that some journalists who are friends of mine, so I'm not going to name because I'm going to be diplomatic like that, who take grave objection whenever some international person says something mean about an Indian politician from the BJP. And if anyone in India even kind of endorses what that person said, they're saying, how can you humiliate your government in trying to agree with a foreigner? At times like this, it is about, you keep out, we will deal with this. For the Ministry of External Affairs, for the Ministry of External Affairs to tweet this out, I think demonstrates that politics has got to a stage where there is no consistency in your principles, in your thoughts, in what you're saying. Like for him to say twice on Twitter that he does not speak for, of course, that's clear, but that also could have been done had he spoken to him behind the scenes. But the fact is, we are in the politics right now. Forget parties speaking to each other. Even people within parties don't speak to each other, especially with the BJP. And I think that is a demonstration where, and I can tell you for a fact, in earlier governments, even during, Sheila Dikshit's time or Manmohan Singh's time or before that, there would be behind the scenes socializing, some sort of correspondence. There is close to zero right now. And that is where this very virulent enmity is what demonstrates itself.
All of you listening in, the Chota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoro. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.